Hola, everyone. Welcome to the Legend of Zelda Twilight Princess discussion.
I'm glad you realized that you had to start the intro this time. Because normally we'll just
Oh,
sit here for a second of silence, and I'm like, okay, who's going to do this?
oh yeah, but anyway, this is quite the game, I'd say, because when it was first revealed back in 2004 or 5,
It was 4. It was 4.
that E3 reveal was absolutely like, wow.
Oh, dude, everyone shit their pants over this.
Yeah, I know, because it was since hold on, microphone's not close enough. Because it's been since the year 2000 that we had a Zelda game in that kind of like art style, more realistic rather than Toon Link.
Yeah, because at the time, people were like, oh, I don't want the cartoony aesthetic, and now people love Wind Waker, so time has validated Wind Waker.
People
But,
don't know. People don't know what the fuck they want. Trust me.
Hmm.
I mean, just look at
So the-
Sonic Unleashed. Look at Sonic Unleashed.
like, the best way to describe Twilight Princess in a nutshell is prettier Ocarina of Time.
About as good, maybe. About around as good, I'd say. I don't think it's better, but I think it's just about as good.
It's very similar to Ocarina of Time, almost beat for beat.
Almost. I mean, you start off in Ordon Village, and you just have to go deliver something to Hyrule Castle, and then it's like, okay, I gotta do some horse racing, and not horse racing, get the goats into the thing, which I honestly think that should have been the final battle. You on the Hyrule field, and you have to gallop Ganon into a trap on your horse. That
I'll
would
be
have been fucking
honest for
funny.
a second. There's one thing about this game I dread. It's the Kingdom Hearts 2 length tutorial.
I was thinking about that before we did this. I was thinking, what is worse, the Wind Waker opening with Forsaken Fortress or Twilight Princess? Because Forsaken Fortress is just annoying to do if your first time around anyway. Once you know where you gotta go, you're fine.
But it doesn't take like 3 hours.
Yeah, I know, because you start off having to get the goats in there, then you gotta talk to some people, then you gotta go get a fishing rod, and you gotta get the cat a fish, and then you get the slingshot, and then you use the slingshot, then you get a stick, and then you use the
Correct me if
stick.
I'm wrong. Correct me if I'm wrong. Was this the first Zelda game to be multi-plat release when it first came out?
Um, Around the same time, yeah. The GameCube version came out a little bit later than the Wii version.
Yeah, because it was released on the Wii and the GameCube.
Yeah, this is the first
And
time they cross-platformed it.
and it's not just a port; like they completely mirror the game.
Yeah, I kind of get the idea, the mirror of Twilight, just get it, because yeah,
Most of my experience with Twilight Princess is the HD version.
mine was the Wii version and then the Wii U version, and the Wii U version, even though it has a few hiccups and some like not performance, but just Link's controls sometimes get a little wonked out. Other than that, it's the best version to play.
Just like Wind Waker, the HD version of Twilight Princess is the one you want to get if you're one of those weird people who has a Wii U.
Yeah, well,
Nintendo, port these to Switch already.
I'd rather them just actually remake them at this point.
I mean, that'd be cool. But if you're gonna remake them, start with Ocarina.
They're not gonna remake that game again.
They
I
remade
don't.
Gen 1. They remade Gen 1 twice, so why not?
Well, that's Pokemon.
Just saying.
Well, Pokemon likes to milk everything that they can.
But
Zelda, they take their time with Zelda. So we probably won't see these kind of
the
remakes until
best,
like the 2030s.
a great way to describe the story is Sonic Unleashed done right.
What?
Twilight Princess is Sonic Unleashed done correctly.
Oh yeah, because you got something different in this game compared to Ocarina of Time, and that's a wolf form when you go into these places called the Twilight Realm, and it's just spreading all over Hyrule, and you meet this imp named Midna who helps you out of getting out of
Midna,
Hyrule Castle.
best
That's
fairy companion. I don't care what anyone says.
one of the best characters in the Zelda franchise.
Yeah.
It's because she's sassy and she isn't like, "Hey, Link, did you know?"
Hey, listen!
Link, your Wiimote batteries are low. Link, there's a 70% chance that there's this ahead. There's a 10% chance that you won't get this. It's like, Jesus fucking Christ, shut the fuck up. Minna does not interrupt you. She doesn't.
I want to make sure I got this right. You love Skyward Sword.
Fuck off. I hate that game. Sorry, guys, but I don't like that game.
That's a video for another day.
Yeah, I won't have much to say on it because I didn't beat the damn game.
But
you don't really get sword play. Like, I mean, you kind of do in the intro where you go through a forest with this stick as your sword, and it's like, okay, that's kind of the
part of the
combat.
reason this intro is so long is because this was basically the Wii launch title.
Yeah, I'd say it was a pretty banging launch title.
It was by far the best launch title, and they had to get you accustomed to the Wiimote. So fine.
It was a little weird because when I first used the Wii, I tried using it like as you think you would use it, but no, it's simple. Very simple stuff to use, like aiming and shooting, and it's very, very nice. It's just I don't know. The Wii version's nice, but I'd just stick to the Wii U version if you can get it.
Generally speaking, I prefer button controls to motion controls. That's just who I am.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Unless the game is built exclusively for motion controls and is not an option, that's something completely different.
And then you port that game to the Switch and make your sword swinging awkwardly on the right stick, and
Not a lot of people talked about the remaster or cared for it for Skyward Sword.
One day I'll play it.
I think Nintendo just needs to realize that's the weakest 3D Zelda game next to Majora's Mask. Oh, I said that. But anyway.
But the story isn't anything to write home about.
Not really at first, because it's just like, oh, you got captured by these weird Twilight beasts that this guy named Zant is coming in to take over Hyrule, which he does, and it's like,
Zant
oh no,
is ridiculous.
Well, what's weird is for like the first half of the game or 3/4 of it until you get to the Twilight realm, he's seen as some kind of menace, like creepy and weird, but then when the mask comes off, he's fucking bonkers.
He just spazzes the fuck out.
Yeah, he has like a really high pitched voice, and he like twists and turns. And
but shock of the century, he's not the main villain.
Yeah. This was like the first time Zelda did the whole switcheroo on the villain thing in terms of like 3D games, because Link to the Past did that too with Aghanim.
Because they make you think this guy Zant is the main villain, but really, shock of the century, it's Ganondorf.
Yeah, and you know what's funny? This is the last time we would see him until Tears of the Kingdom.
It's crazy to think about that.
Yeah, I know. I mean, if you count Demise from Skyward Sword, I guess, but I mean, because Ganondorf is just a reincarnation of Demise's hatred.
So we'll talk about that in the Tears of the Kingdom review, which we will be doing.
Yeah, we're gonna need to like get the story out for Skyward Sword because again, I haven't played it all the way through. I don't know everything about it. So again, back to the Twilight Princess. Most of the game are going around like doing like a dungeon, and then you gotta fix the Twilight Realm first. Then you go back as regular Link, because anytime you go into the Twilight Realm, you turn into Wolf Link. It's because you have the Triforce of courage built into you. It protects you. And
Jesus, this is Sonic Unleashed.
yeah. So after you do a dungeon, you go to the next place, which I think is Kakariko Village. That's all Twilight placed, and I'd say that's probably my favorite Twilight area to go to. I don't know why. I just really like that place.
I can see that.
It was just
my
so cool.
thing is, it got really repetitive for me collecting the Twilight seeds after a while.
I mean, if you know what you're doing, like I could say the same thing about Wind Waker's Triforce Hunt. And once you know what you're doing, it's not that bad.
Well, you can say that about any game. Just because you know how to do it doesn't make it good.
Yeah, no. See, if you know what you're doing, it's not a problem to you. But for the new player, Jesus Christ. But again, this is nowhere near as bad as the Triforce hunt. But you have to do that for every area. The final being the Lake Hylia area, and you have to fight a giant queen, which is basically obviously the one birthing all these shadow creatures. And every time you do, you go to the fountains or a fountain of that region, and you talk to some kind of spirit animal. It's like,
Yeah,
okay, I don't get that. I don't know where they came from, or there's no no build up to them in any previous games. They're just like, "Hi, I'm here."
because Twilight Princess is weird.
Yeah, it takes place during the child timeline when Link goes back and tells Zelda, "Hey, Gandalf is gonna do this stuff. We need
Yeah,
to."
because they imprisoned Ganondorf in the Twilight Realm, and then Zant released him. I think.
Sort of. I think
Like,
what happens is like obviously he's going out for execution. He gets stabbed, but the Triforce of Power revives him, and he just gets all beastie and fucking demonic looking for a little bit. If you see it in his eyes, anyway. Uh,
the main portion of the story, because it's called Twilight Princess, Midna is the Twilight Princess.
you kind of ponder and figure that out as you're playing. You're like, oh, okay, okay. Uh, but what's interesting with Xant's like whole uprise is that he wanted to be worthy of the throne, but he wasn't. And then you just see the spirit of Ganon's head just kind of floating there, saying, "I can give you my power in return if you help me get out of here."
Yeah,
And
so
it's like,
Zant basically worships Ganondorf as a god.
yeah, he pretty much says that. He sees like a god came to me, and in the story, which I didn't catch the first time when I was a kid. Wow, I was 11 years old when this came out. 12, Jesus fucking Christ!
Yeah, this came out in what 2006. I was 14.
And I played it in 2007 on the Wii. So, uh,
This is one
Ganondorf
that like
promises to bring him back with if he ever gets destroyed or just something bad happens to him. Keep that in mind for later. So it's like, okay, yeah, that's cool, thanks. So he's gotten all this like dark power and stuff, and Zant takes over Hyrule. Whoop de doo. That's where
until
your adventure.
Midna pops him like a balloon.
Dude, that was fucking brutal. I was like, wow, okay. But he's just in that scene. He's just like, oh, I'm gonna be revived by my god Ganondorf. Whoa!
It
It's like,
doesn't matter though because Link kills Ganondorf at the end. So
Link doesn't kill him.
Link,
Link does not technically kill him.
didn't he
And
impale him with the Master Sword?
you saw that he was still standing and breathing.
Dude. It's been a minute since I played this game.
He tried to call forth the power of the Triforce, but it just wasn't doing anything because it was shared with Zant, and Zant is seeing this happen from the afterlife at the end, and he cracks his neck, basically snapping his neck, and it kills Ganondorf because their powers are shared. So Zant sees that Ganondorf lied to him and betrayed him, and he was, you know what? Fuck you. Snaps his neck, and then he dies standing up.
Gameplay wise, if we're transitioning a little bit, I do find the core gameplay to be an improvement on the previous 3D Zelda games.
I still think Wind Waker controls a little bit better, just a little bit.
But the big
Um,
difference between this Link, he has almost no magical abilities.
yeah, there's no there is no magic meter in this game.
He's a freaking tank. He just beats
Yeah,
the shit out of everyone. But this game is more heavily based on things like Lord of the Rings, so makes sense.
yeah. This was that's why everyone freaked out because everyone was really into Lord of the Rings and all these realistic style like sword things. And then
So like,
seeing Zelda jump into that was like, yes.
so like all the items you get are all fit. Like he gets a wrecking ball, a fucking wrecking ball.
Yeah, it's fucking. It's huge. It's like, what the hell?
He can lift
Okay.
cows and throw them now.
Let's see. We should talk about dungeons.
The
The first
dungeons in this game are some of the best in the series, I think.
I can't think of a bad dungeon
I can
like
think of one,
the Water Temple.
the Water Temple.
It's nowhere near as bad as Ocarina of Times.
But
Remember
like
when
I love the one in the sky with the dragon.
I love let's see. So the first one we had the forest one, which was okay.
No, that one's fun because I like the wind puzzles. The second one is just a straight line.
And the
Right.
monkey.
Yeah, the one in Death Mountain, that's just a straight line. Like you cannot get lost in
Yeah, it's a very straightforward, easy dungeon, I'd say. And the Water Temple, that's just it's not as bad as Ocarina of Times, but it's still pretty bad. I don't know what it is about Water Temples and Zelda, just not mixing well together.
there. The Great Bay Temple.
We don't talk about Majora's Mask.
Oh my god, it was so the
But
fourth one where you're Wolf Link, I forgot what it's called, but
what was after that? Well, it's not just a Wolf Link exclusive, is it?
no, but you started as Wolf Link. It's the first one you could be as Wolf Link.
I think it's the Gerudo Arbiter's Grounds. I think that's
It
what's
might
next.
be.
I'm trying to think
It's been
because
a while since I played these games.
well,
'Cause
I just recently played it, so you think I'd remember.
I'm one of those Zelda fans that'll play a Zelda game and I'll wait years to play it again.
I play at least once or a year every 2 years.
You know,
Uh,
I'm a different type of Zelda fan because I'm one of those players who I like waiting a while to replay a game so it's almost new again.
mhm. I just like oh okay because there's a point where Midna almost dies and Zelda saves her, and then you have to and you lose the few shadows that you were looking for in the other three dungeons. So this is where you go figure out about the Arbiter's Ground, find the Mirror of Twilight. That dungeon isn't that bad. I'd say it's pretty cool. Like Gerudo Desert in general in this game is actually kind of cool because
Yeah, no, it is.
you get to actually explore it, unlike Ocarina of Time.
Also, I love the boss fights in this game.
Yeah, they're great. A lot of them are, and the music too is really fucking good with the bosses.
Oh, the
Especially,
soundtrack is. Mwah.
I love when like you knock them down and you can strike them. The music starts picking up.
It's so good.
Yeah, some of the bosses are kind of hard. Some of them are really easy. Like the Goma boss fight, that one was really easy.
Goma
Uh,
being a easy boss fight. What?
I know, right? So after Arbiter's Grounds, you have to go to a few places. You have the ice mountains. I think that's called the Hebra. I don't know.
Isn't that with the weird Yeti people whose house is a dungeon?
Yes, that's actually my favorite dungeon in the game.
It's so funny to me because it's just a house.
Yeah, it's not really even a dungeon. It's just an abandoned mansion where this Yeti girl is trying to tell you where the key to where the place is, and it's like, oh, that's it. It's like, oh, nope, wrong place. Oh, nope, wrong place. Oh, there it is. Oh, nope. It's like, fuck. But it's such a cool little piece of Hylian history that you could look at and ponder about, like, why was this here? Who built it?
And then there's the one in the sky with the dragon.
There was another one too. One in the sky with the Argorok or whatever, and there was what was the other one?
There's the Twilight Realm where you fight Zan.
Oh, the Temple of Time.
Mhm.
That was very weird. Like just going back and ooh, it's a mad doggo. But why does he always have to be like high during videos?
Because people like to talk in my living room while I'm doing this. Anyway,
Oh,
and then the final castle is Hyrule Castle. Again,
yeah. But the whole thing about the Twilight Castle realm is I don't like it. It's not bad. It's just I don't like it. At that point, you're just like, I want to get this game done with. If you've been marathoning it, so once you get that done, also the fight with Zant is pretty fucking cool.
it is.
He uses elements of all some of a decent amount of other bosses you fought, and then we have Hyrule Castle, which is the best, second best version of Hyrule Castle, I'd say, next to Breath of the Wild, because you actually get to explore Hyrule Castle and get stuff. It's pretty nice. And there's also a reoccurring villain that comes in. He's like a giant, like green moblin with horns. He's
Oh yeah, that
working.
guy.
I don't know. He only works for the strongest person out there, so he's not really like I am sworn to this person because reasons. It's just if you're stronger, I'll join your side. So by the time you get to Hyrule Castle, he's like, all right, you've proven your worth. It's time. All right, I'll help you out." It's like, okay, cool. And you make your way up Hyrule Castle, and it starts with just the Hyrule Castle theme, and then it gets more and more into Ganondorf's theme.
Yeah.
And, and then once you get to the top, it's like, all right, time to fight Ganondorf. And here's the most long-winded fucking fight in the series for Ganon.
4 phases.
The first one is just a reference to Ocarina of Time and Wind Waker with, you know, bat ball back and forth. It's like, okay, you don't even like slice up Zelda. You just
It's
because
not even hard. As long as you back up far enough, you're gonna hit the ball there.
I said fuck it and got as close as possible and just smacked it like once or twice. Immediately hit him.
That's funny.
Yeah, I was like, well, fuck that. Okay, and then
Then
the
instead
second
of
fight.
it's weird because Ganon isn't the final boss.
No, this is Dark Beast Ganon. There's two different kinds of Ganons. There's like they can transform into depending on the timeline. Apparently, I was like, what?
Like standing up monster Ganon and big pig
Yeah,
Ganon.
Pig Ganon, and you can fight this as normal Link, but it's more recommended that you use Wolf Link
You really should be Wolf Link.
because he'll like teleport through like portals and like come out, and Minda will grab his head and fucking yank him over to on his side. That's when you bite the shit out of his stab wound,
And then there's the horseback fight,
which
which
is sucks.
yeah. Then there's the final battle, which is just Link versus Ganondorf.
Very cool setting and atmosphere and all that. You know, it's like, oh shit, here we go. But
Let me tell you something.
it's easy.
joke. It is a joke.
If you haven't fought him in a while, it can be a little hard, but it's really
But
not that
let me
bad.
tell you something.
On hero mode, it's a bitch.
If you're playing this game on the standard difficulty, it is not hard.
Well, I'd say for the classic of the 3D Zelda games, like in that style, Twilight Princess is the hardest.
I don't think so.
Just from sheer difficulty, I'd guess. Not
You
from
know, like
bullshit.
my
Not from bullshit design. Majora's Mask.
I my last playthrough of this, which was 2 years ago, which was my first full playthrough of it. I died 0 times.
Back then, like I play on hero mode now, so if I die, it's like, oh wow. But yeah, I don't know. I
It's
under
not Wind Waker is still easier.
yeah. It's only hard if you do hero mode for the first like dungeon or two, but once you get more hearts, it's like, oh okay.
Yeah, no, it's. I still think Ocarina of Time is a more difficult game.
Oh no, wait. Actually, no. Twilight Princess can be the hardest if you use the Ganondorf amiibo on the Wii U version and you take quadruple damage.
Oh, that's bullshit. Why would you do that to yourself?
Well, if the game's a little too easy, I mean, you can fuck around and find out.
I mean, you can, but that's
I did, and it's fucking brutal.
Yeah, I'm not gonna try that. I don't own the amiibo, so
Yeah.
I don't own any amiibos actually.
Speaking of that, there's the Wolf Link amiibo that came packed in with the game or most of the games, and that unlocks a extra little shadow cave dungeon where you play as Wolf Link through it, and depending on how many hearts you have at the end, that's how many hearts are going to be saved into that amiibo for you to use in Breath of the Wild when you summon Wolf Link to help fight enemies with you. Which
Don't you get just a really big pouch for doing that?
yeah, you get like a really big pouch, like almost 10,000 rupees, I think.
That's insane.
It helps a lot with the magical armor that you get in the game, which is an absolute bullshit way to get that thing. You spend so much money to get that, and then by the end, you still need to use rupees to fucking use it.
Of course. Now, if I'm honest, this is one of my favorite Zelda games.
Oh yeah, same here.
If not, it's probably my top 2.
For me goes Wind Waker, Ocarina of Time, and then this.
Well, you like Wind Waker more than I do.
Yeah, I mean it doesn't help. It was my first like 3D Zelda game I beat.
Don't misunderstand what I'm saying. I love Wind Waker, not as much as some of the others.
I just think the art style just makes the game easier on the eyes. Because let me say, Twilight Princess, they went for that realistic style, and when you go for that realistic style in the mid 2000s on those kind of things of hardware, it's not going to hold up well at all. later on. Because
Yeah.
even with Twilight Princess HD, it just didn't feel right. Like it looked okay, but the features they added were nice enough, I guess. But it's also the buggier port, because there are points where like you can be like holding a certain direction, but Link won't move that direction. It's just
It's
very weird.
just like with a Wind Waker. If you're gonna play this, definitely just get the HD version if you have a Wii U, which I know a lot of people don't.
A lot of people are pissed that they're not releasing these, but I can see why from the social aspects that they threw into the game for Miiverse, they would have to rework that somehow.
I mean,
You can't.
they were able to take the Miiverse stuff out of 3D World, so
I mean, Wind Waker, you could probably get rid of that, but what would you put in place of it? That's the thing, because you
a
can't just take the. You can't take
photo
the
mode.
Tingle bottle.
Photo
Well,
mode.
no. Well, you can't take the Tingle bottle out. You can't take the. You can't put the Tingle tuner back in because they don't have anything that works with it. So what do you change Tingle's item to?
Yeah, I'm sure they could figure it out. They're Nintendo.
Yeah, I mean, maybe the next console. I could see them probably remastering or remaking them for the next console or something because they need some killer lineups, and the Switch is doing fine enough.
The Switch is probably on its last legs too. So,
Yeah, probably another 2 or 3 years are left out of it.
but
That's
so
that's the annoying part.
the next time Alex and I meet up for one of these videos, which probably won't be for a while, I am not going to be here. I've said
He's
that the
going
last time we did this too.
fine.
Is is going to be dogs barking. Um,
Yes.
it's going to be Super Mario Galaxy.
Oh boy, I played the hell out of that game. 100% of that one.
Only the first one. The second one's getting its own video. So,
Yeah, I'm not gonna have anything to say about that because I played about 20 minutes of it and I was like,
well, you're a monster. Anyway,
well, I had better other games to play at that time anyway.
yeah, well, you're wrong. Anyway, thank you guys so much for watching, and we'll be back soon. Take care.